greetings, folks. Look, a sincere gratitude to all the people that showed me their support for me last night and my 2 children. We really appreciate it, and your kindness. Look, this now has gone to another level completely, and these gangsters and these people who came onto my property and stalked my daughter's bedroom and my house and my property for an hour and a half. When I know the name of this paedophile who was driving this lady, and when I know their names, I will let you all know who they are and where they are and everything I can find out about them, because nobody is above the law. And a message now for the politician that sent these people to my door: you now are not above the law, and I am going the full rigours of the protection of the Irish state and on Garda Síochána now to get the justice, and for my own protection for my children. But look, moving on now to other business there. It's shocking. I was right all along when I said the night of the general election, when I, went to Turin-Cahill polling station and saw with my own 2 eyes the presiding officer tearing ballot papers out of the ballot book, and the polling clerk sitting idly by and saying nothing. Now, I'm after looking at the marked register, and surprise, surprise, there appears to be no spoilt votes in Turin-Cahill polling station. Now, I am now going after the presiding officer and the polling clerk lady to get the answers now that I want, because I have said it, and I was the first one to come out and say there is electoral interference and electoral rigging going on in this general election. Look, when you see Art O'Leary, the Electoral Commission guy, coming out yesterday and saying that, that there may have been an estimate of up to 500,000 names, that's 500,000 names on the register that should not be. But the Electoral Commission claims that there's no accuracy way of assessing that. Even the local authorities across the country now seem to have more people on their election register than the population that is eligible to vote. You couldn't make this shit up. People now will be held accountable for this. I contacted Art O'Leary in the Electoral Commission's office yesterday, and he refused to take my call. And, I spoke to a lovely girl, Laura, there, and she said, look, we're, Michelle, only answerable to the Oireachtas and to the Department of the Taoiseach. They're not, responsible for the marked register. And I said, what? How do you mean you're not responsible for the marked register? She told me on the phone that they have no way of knowing who's on the marked register in this country. She also stated to me that the only access they have is to the marked register is from every council in the country. And I said, what is the purpose of your job if ye in the Electoral Commission haven't a clue who's allowed to vote and who's not allowed to vote? I even stated to her, why are people that are dead and gone to heaven with 20 years still on the marked register in Kerry? And she couldn't answer me that. I said, why are ye not carrying out an audit of every county council in the country and having this up? This should be at the, we're living in 2025, tech savvy era. This should be at the flick of a button on the system, who's voting or not. I said, why did I get 2 ballot voting cards myself? One in my married name and one in my maiden name after I going into Kerry County Council, and they changed it on the system right in front of me to my maiden name. And yet I get 2 ballot cards, one with my married name and one with my maiden name. I mean, sure, this type of incompetency is unbelievable. I also asked her, were they going to now carry out an audit on every county council in the country? I believe they came out with a statement yesterday saying that they may have this rectified by the next time there's a general election. I mean, this is a joke. Do they think the Irish people are going to put up with this? Look, I told you I was onto something with this election rigging. Be under no illusion now, they have confirmed it themselves, exactly what I have been saying to you all along, that there is election rigging going on within county councils across the country, with people on the marked register. Like, I also asked the lady Laura in the Electoral Commission, like, where is the 50 million euros that was spent on the e-voting machines? Where are they being stored now? Why can't they be pulled out and used? You know, we need to release the names of who's profiteering from the warehouse storing of these. Like, what politician's friend now, or is it a politician that owns a shed somewhere where these are being stored? We need now a total reform on the election process, and we need to bring in e-voting, because, you know, what happened to me and what I saw in Turin-Cahill polling station, there is, look, a whole manual, right, that I've downloaded for presiding officers, right? And, you know, there's certain things on it saying each ballot paper should be stamped separately at the time it is being issued. Only one ballot paper may be inserted into the instrument at a time. Why was this presiding officer pulling out and stamping ballot papers when there was nobody else in the polling station? And then there's another section on it. Detach each ballot paper from the book and hand it to the elector. Make sure that the counter files remain in the books and are handed to the elector. I want to see the counter files of the ballot books from Turin-Cahill polling station, because there's huge repercussions for presiding officers and polling clerks if they have misused their powers. And I want simply answers now. I want simply answers now to what happened to these polling ballot papers in Turin-Cahill. And I am going to get it to the end of this. And I'm not letting, I canvassed for a year, and I'm letting no presiding officer and polling clerk away with what they've done to me in Turin-Cahill polling station. I need answers and I need explanations now into this, and I won't stop till I get them. You know, I made a statement that night to Garda Síochána. I've been fobbed now from Castleisland Garda Station to Tralee Garda Station, over to Killarney Garda Station, over to Rathmore Garda Station, and back up to Macroom in Cork. And now I hear that I find out that it's actually, the investigation now is being investigated from Bandon. And we all know who lives in Bandon, so I'm going to now go after Michael Collins, Independent Ireland, and get him on the case and see where is this investigation going. Because I've asked now, who took a Garda statement from the presiding officer, the polling clerk assistant, the county register. This is now a big can of worms, and I'm a big problem now for Kerry County Council and the Electoral Commission, because I am not going to stop. I know this election was rigged, and I'm out to prove it. Look, I, Michelle Keane, am keen on my country, and let's make Ireland great again. Gura Mila Mahagav.